Alright, this is going to be a ETC, which is 2,400 points, Warhammer Fantasy Battles, 8th edition battle reports, another Universal Battle one. I'm using the same list as I used in my last Universal report on this channel, which I used against Dark Elves last time. Basically, I was looking for a game and I found someone that wanted to play an ETC battle, and this is the only list I had written, sort of ready to use. I was looking forward to using it actually, and they said they played Demons of Chaos, and my heart just sank because I really wanted to play a game. But if you watched my last battle report, you'll know that this list revolves largely around a Silver Helm bus with Noble with the Banner of the World Dragon in it, and that's just really strong against demons. Not that I've ever used it against demons, you know, I don't play a lot of games, to be honest, and I'm not like a tournament player, as you can tell by watching my videos, but you know, it's not like I've been hammering Demons of Chaos into the ground with the Banner of the World Dragon. I think this will be the first time I've used it against them, so I've heard a lot about it in the last few years of how overpowered it can be against demons. But, you know, I just said this is the only list I've got, and he's still up for a game, and he was totally up to play. I think he's up for a challenge personally, and this list is certainly going to be a challenge for demons. So, but then again, looking at the demon army across the map from me, I actually felt that was pretty scary as well. There's a lot of units that I'm not too familiar with and that I perceive as being quite powerful, even with my World Dragon Bus of Doom. So I'll just go over deployment. So we'll start with my high elves at the bottom, and just as an aside, I've put the army lists in the video description. If you take a look at them, it's got my full army list, and I didn't have access to my opponent's list, so I've just put down what I can tell he's got. I might have missed off some magic items or demonic artifacts, or whatever they're called. But so we've got on the bottom my Frost Phoenix, and next to that's a Star Dragon Lord with Dawnstone and Giant Blade, making him strength 7. Possibly a couple of other items. 5 Silver Helms, 3 Bolt Throwers, a Great Eagle, my Silver Helm bus with a Noble with the World Dragon Banner, another Noble with the Ogre Blade, and 2 level 2 mages, one with Dispel Scroll, one with Khaine's Ring of Fury. And then on the far right hand side I've got 5 more Silver Helms with Champion and Banner. And at the top we've got demons, so starting from left to right we've got 3 Screamers, another 3 Screamers, 5 Furies, 10 Pink Horrors, which are the sort of blue and red flamey models there, 10 more Pink Horrors with the General, which is the level 2 Herald of Tzeentch obviously, 5 more Furies, 5 Beasts and Lone Beast, 4 Plague Drones, 4 more Beasts. There's a block of 5, 10, 25 Plague Bearers, or I think that's 24 with a Herald of Nurgle actually, who's the BSB, 5 more Furies and 4 more Plague Drones. Spell-wise, I rolled really terribly for my magic and ended up taking 2 Soul Quenches. So I've got a Soul Quench on each of my wizards. I've also got Khaine's Ring of Fury for 3 Soul Quenches total. I've got Tempest, which is a rubbish spell in my opinion, and then Apotheosis, which is pretty good, especially for a dragon list. And demons got Tzeentch's Firestorm, Infernal Gateway, Treason Tzeentch, and possibly some others that I've forgotten. So I roll up the first turn, and this is how I move. I actually leave the Phoenix and the Silver Helms in place, basically because I know that the Screamers have something called Lamprey's Bite, which does D3 wounds against large targets, so I really don't want to take on both of those Screamer units. I reckon I can take on one, so I'm leaving him there as a deterrent, and although it might seem a waste to use a Phoenix like that, I think both of those units of Screamers are actually the same amount of points as the Phoenix, so if I can use him as a sort of deterrent, I'll be happy with that. And really I want to keep the Silver Helms there ready to charge anyone that tries to go for the Bolt Throwers, and leaving the bolt throws free to focus on the units further back, like the Furies and Pink Horrors. So that was my thinking behind that. I moved my Dragon Lord across the centre of the board, and note his position there and see if you can see anything that might be wrong with that move. I've moved up the Silver Helm bus and just slightly staggered the smaller unit of Silver Helms, and I've repositioned the Eagle over to the right hand side, basically because the right hand unit of Plague Drones, I don't want them coming round to flank my bus, so I thought I'd use the Eagle to redirect them, obviously completely overlooking the fact that they are hoverers, so they can basically fly, although they can only move 10 inches per turn, so I won't be redirecting them anytime soon. But I realised that pretty quickly, but I think the Eagle's more useful over there anyway. Nothing really happens in the magic phase, I don't think, and in my shooting phase I kill 3 Pink Horrors with 3 bolt throwers, so that's pretty disappointing. So this is Demons of Chaos turn 1 movement, and in case you hadn't worked out what was wrong with my dragon's movement yet, here you can see that because of the way I angled him, and also the fact that the Plague Drones can charge over the impassable terrain with their flight, and I was actually pretty close to them. I think they only needed a 7, which I totally didn't see. They easily make a flank charge onto the Dragon Lord, so I panicked slightly and think I might have just lost the game in turn 1. So I really should have been paying attention there, but we'll see what happens. The beasts move up in front of my bus. The Furies sort of reposition themselves at the back of the board, but they all stay quite far back. And on the left hand side you can see the Screamers seem to be treating my Phoenix with the caution which I hope they would, and they hang back quite a long way as well, so there's still no one coming up to threaten the bolt throws yet, which is how I like it. So here's what the board looks like after combat. In the magic phase he gets Tzeentch's Firestorm off, it scatters and hits one of the bolt throwers. He rolls strength 1 for the strength, but it's got a 6 to wound, and then I had to take a toughness test to take D3 more wounds, and I failed the test, so that actually killed the bolt thrower, so not a bad result for a strength 1 roll. And then in combat, in the centre of the board, I have killed 3 of the 4 Plague Drones, and the remaining Plague Drone has got 1 wound left, and in return I've suffered 1 wound. So yeah, that Star Dragon Lord is really no joke. High Elves turn 2 movement. I backed the Phoenix up like an inch, because basically this means that rather than both of the Scream units having an okay chance to get in on him, only one of them has a decent chance and the other one is much more difficult. So that's the thinking behind that. The other Silver Helms stay put. My bus charges into the 4 beasts, and my Silver Helm unit on the right backs up. This is to avoid being charged by the Plague Drones, and also if I fluff against the beasts and end up like that, stuck there, and the Plague Drones go to my flank, it means I can get a flank charge off on the Plague Drones next turn. And the Eagle flies up in front of the Plague Bearers to redirect them if needs be. In Magic I get off Apotheosis onto the dragon with Irresistible Force, heal its wound back, but the Mage takes a wound from the miscast and a roll of 1 on the ward save, so my Mage has suffered a wound. And in the shooting phase, both the bolt throwers fire at the Pink Horrors again, and I kill 1 this time. Are you kidding me? Combat goes as expected, and obviously the dragon finishes off the Plague Drone, and the charge from the Silver Helm bus is just too much for the beasts, and they crumble, and I reform to face the Plague Drones. So we go on to Demons turn 2 movement. There's a few interesting things going on here. So on the left hand side, 1 unit of Screamers comes round to the flank of the Phoenix just outside its front arc. The other unit of Screamers moves to the right, and this is to back up the beast, the lone beast which has moved forward. So if I charge the beast and kill it, they will be able to attack the knights. The other big unit of beasts moves round a bit, plague drones back up. The plague bearers back up to behind the hill. So those hills, they're obviously blocked line of sight. And the Furies, one unit charges the Great Eagle, and another unit flies in front of my bus. And they're positioned at such an angle that if I charge them, I will be charging north, so I'll be charging their front. So they're redirecting me away from the plague drones. And so the plague drones on the right hand side, because they're skirmishers, they're actually surprisingly manoeuvrable. So they're actually a pretty nifty little unit. Faced them a few times now, and I remember, I think in one of my other battle reports I commented on how impressed I was with them. It's tempered by their relatively slow movement of 10, but yeah, with their skirmish formation, they just fly out of the way like that and come around to threaten the other unit of Silver Helms. And in the magic phase, he rolls a double 6 for his winter magic, so he gets to summon another unit. So he summons 10 plague bearers, and they can appear anywhere on the board. I think they have to be at least an inch away from an enemy model, and that's the only restriction. So he summons 10 plague bearers next to the bolt throwers, and he also gets off Tzeentch's Firestorm again, I think, against the unit of Silver Helms near the Phoenix. It kills one of them. I think he gets strength 1 again, but it kills one of them. And this time I make my toughness test, so I get 6+ regen for that unit for the rest of the battle. And in combat, I lose combat, but my eagle stays, and I do kill one of the Furies as well, and I reform to face them. High Elves turn 3, end of the movement phase. I'll just go over the charges first of all. I charge the Beast with the small unit of Silver Helms to the regen, and I decide not to charge my bus into the Furies. I back up my bus, and I charge the other small unit of Silver Helms into the Furies instead. And then my Dragon Lord gets off a sneaky flank charge onto the Beasts. Well, I thought it was being sneaky, but we'll see what happens in the combat phase. And other movement, my Phoenix moves round to the flank of the Screamers just outside of their arc of sight. Basically, I see a chance here to nab one or both of the pink horror units, since he's not going to be able to stop that Phoenix now from charging into one of them. And that's all the movement. Basically, I've just I've given up the bolt throwers. I don't care about them. They're only 70 points each, so that unit of plague bearers appearing next to them just meant that there's no way I'm going to be able to defend them, so I might as well go after the rest of his units now. In the magic phase, the only thing I do is use Apotheosis to heal one of my mages. I think I try for a Tempest on the plague bearers, but that's dispelled. So you can see the skull that was next to the mage in the bus unit has now disappeared. In the shooting phase, both the bolt throwers firing at the pink horrors again kill one more, so actually I'm glad that those plague bearers are going to kill them now. And here we are at the end of the combat phase. So the 4 Silver Helms with regen, which is the ones with the little scroll next to them, they don't do too well against the Beast, but I win combat and he just flubs his instability roll and crumbles and dies. I overrun, but I'm just 1 inch short of overrunning into the plague, into the pink horrors. So I mean, I needed a 9 to get into them, so I rolled average, I think. The other small Silver Helm unit destroys the Furies with ease, and overruns into the other Furies, which have killed the Eagle by this point. So I should be killing them next turn. And in the combat with the Dragon Lord, I now realise that Beasts, for some reason, I think it's some sort of rule called lovable puppy-like fervour or something. I can't remember. Maybe I'm thinking of the old Demons book. But yeah, I do remember as soon as he mentions it. They can all challenge. So at first, I'm a bit taken aback. I think it's kind of fallen into a trap. But thinking about it, I'm not. I would be very, very lucky to do more than 4 wounds against, because I think beasts have 4 wounds each. I'd be lucky to do more than 4 wounds against them, considering they got 4+ regen. So with my 10 strength 7 attacks between the dragon and the lord, you know, I'm not going to cause 8 wounds on average, so that doesn't bother me too much. I think I'll still grind that unit down. But as you can see from this picture, I haven't done very well this round. I think I've only done 1 wound. I think I just rolled a few 1s to wound and he got a bit lucky on his saves. I still am confident about that combat. Demons turn 3, end of movement. The 1 unit of Screamers flies over the Phoenix and does its slash attack and causes the wound. The other unit of Screamers charges the flank of the regen Silver Helms, and both units of Pink Horrors turn around to face the Phoenix, so I've got a feeling I'm going to be Infernal Gatewayed in short order. The Plague Bearers don't charge the flank of the Silver Helms, presumably because I assume he doesn't want to take a charge from my bus, since that will almost certainly pop that whole unit in 1 round. What else? Oh, the Plague Drones move miles away. They just move right to the edge of the board there. So I guess I don't know. You know why he does that. And the Plague Bearers that were summoned obviously charged the Bolt Thrower. And here we are after combat. So in the magic phase, I think I scrolled Infernal Gateway on the Phoenix. I couldn't take that chance, and that's all that happened in magic. And the combat phase was actually really good for me. I destroyed the Furies with the Silver Helms. That was to be expected. The other Silver Helm unit didn't lose anyone. I just rolled well on my armour saves and rolled well on my leadership as well, and stuck. And the Dragon Lord has now killed a beast and done 3 wounds to another one, so I've almost killed 2 beasts now. I can see that starting to go in my favour. He did that, I think, with overkill from the challenge, and then the beasts just rolled badly on their demonic instability. I think they're within 12 of the BSB, and he just rolled badly on the reroll as well. I think he rolled worse on the reroll than he did the first time. And it's my turn next, so I think I can really do some damage to those beasts next turn. High Elves turn 4, end of movement. So charges, my Phoenix charges the Pink Horrors. I could have charged the Screamers and probably saved that unit of Silver Helms, but if I can help it, I really don't want the Phoenix in combat with Screamers. I want them in combat as little as possible with Screamers because of their D3 wounds against large targets. I think I can probably kill all those Pink Horrors and overrun into the other unit and kill them next turn. The small unit Silver Helms charges the beasts, and basically my bus, which is a really expensive unit, that's over 1,000 points in that bus, and I could just go after the Plague Bearers or the Plague Drones, try and get some points from them, but that would mean that I move more than 12 inches away from my Dragon Lord, and if I stay near him, not only does he get the reroll from the BSB, but he's also stubborn because of the Banner of the World Dragon. So I would rather just stay there, not move the bus for the rest of the game, mop up those beasts, and then I don't care what happens with the Plague Bearers. I don't care if they charge the flank of the Silver Helms, because my Dragon Lord is not going anywhere, and there's nothing really that can threaten him as far as I can see. So I'd rather play it safe and quite conservative here, and just leave my bus in the middle. I took another slide here for the magic phase, but as far as I can see, it's identical to the previous one, and I've got no idea what I did, so I don't know why I bothered with that. So at the end of the combat phase, the Plague Bearers have killed the other Bolt Thrower. I think at some point one of the Bolt Thrower crews managed to kill a Plague Bearer, which is why it's only 9 there now. The Screamers, which are attacking my Silver Helms, have killed one, but I still stick. I'm just rolling well for the leadership. Disappointingly, the Phoenix doesn't manage to kill all of the Pink Horrors and takes 2 wounds from them as well. I was pretty shocked at that, and I probably will lose the Phoenix now because the Screamers can charge him in the rear. He's only got 2 wounds left. But most disappointing of all In the Star Dragon Lord combat with the beasts, the Dragon Lord, the Prince, and the Silver Helms did quite a lot of wounds to the beasts, and I think I ended up killing a couple, and he crumbled with his first roll as well. So I think there are only 1 or 2 beasts left after that combat. But with his reroll from the BSB, he got a double 1, which means he gets all his wounds back which were suffered in that combat phase. So it's tipped the balance of that combat right back to the beasts now, because with only 2 rounds, so 2 turns left, I now don't think I will get the points of those beasts. If he hadn't have got that double 1, I probably would have finished that unit by the end of the game. Demons turn 4, the Screamers go into the rear of the Phoenix, Plague Bearer block into the flank of the Silver Helms fighting the beasts, and the last remaining unit of Furies flies in front of my bus to redirect it. And importantly, you'll note that he doesn't charge in the Plague Bearers into the flank of the bus yet, and I think that's a brilliant move not to do that. Not much happens in Magic, and in combat I get lucky with the Phoenix. He doesn't roll any 6s to wound, and I do a number on both of those units of the Screamers and the Pink Horrors. Only 1 Pink Horror left now. My other Silver Helm unit fighting the Screamers gets lucky again. There's 3 left. For some reason I haven't been trying to reform them. I think I did try a couple of times, and I just failed my leadership to do a combat reform. But I've been passing my leadership every turn to not flee. And in the other combat with the Dragon Lord, the Plague Bearers obviously mulch the Silver Helms and overrun into the Dragon Lord. I just don't care. I'm stubborn, leadership 10, rerollable. I've got good armour save, and there's only, because of the way the beasts are, which obviously kept them like that for the game so far, precisely to allow the Plague Bearers to charge in with their ranks and everything. So with the way the beasts are, there's only like 1 or 2 files of Plague Bearers in combat with me anyway. So I kill a beast by the looks of it. I don't take any wounds, and I stick. I think I lose combat by 1 or 2, but I'm stubborn. Right, so my turn 5, and the only movement I have is to charge my bus into the Furies, and because of the impassable terrain in the middle there, he has to align to me partly, because I can't wheel around fully. Another uneventful Magic phase. They've pretty much all been uneventful so far, I think. And in combat, the Phoenix is victorious and kills both of those units. My Silver Helms that have been fighting against the Screamers for most of the battle, there's 2 left now, and they stick. My Dragon kills another beast. He's been challenged every turn by the beasts, by the way, because they can just keep challenging. So he kills 1, I lose combat again, and I stick. No wounds on my Dragon. My bus kills the Furies, and I reform. The reason I'm facing that position is because by doing that I'm as far away as I can possibly be from the Plague Bearers in the south, but I can also see the Plague Bearer block above me. Demons turn 5, and here is why I think that not charging my bus with the small unit of Plague Bearers earlier was a brilliant move. It now means that he can attempt it this turn, and basically he used up a turn of my movement by making me fight the Furies, and now he can attempt to tie me up again and hopefully stop me from even being able to charge the Plague Bearer block at all. He might get unlucky. I might kill all those Plague Bearers this turn and still be able to charge, but it's definitely worth the risk, especially considering that's a free unit of Plague Bearers he's got. He needed a 9 to get in, and he made it. There's no other movement, and you can see the Plague Drones have just been relegated to preserving their points down in the corner of the board. In the Magic phase, he gets Tzeentch's Firestorm off on the Phoenix, rolls Strength 1 again, rolls 6 to wound again, and I take a wound from it, and basically I then have to take a toughness test. If I fail the toughness test, I could take D3 more wounds with no armour saves, but fortunately I pass. I mean, I am toughness 6, but I roll a 5 on the toughness test, so I start to sweat a bit there. And that's all that happens in the Magic phase. In combat, he finally kills the Silver Helms with the Screamers, and they reform to face the Phoenix. and in the combat with the Plague Bearers and my bus, I make way with my BSB, and obviously I've got my Ogre Blade Noble in combat with him anyway, but I just don't roll that well. He gets a wound through onto my Mage as well, and I don't think they even crumble, so that plan has worked now, and I won't be able to charge the Plague Bearers next turn, so I've just got to hope that my Dragon Lord doesn't break and flee, which are minuscule odds. I don't know what the percentages are, it must be like less than 1% chance, but it's a chance. My turn 6, and rather than risking the Phoenix against the Pink Horrors with only 1 wound left, I decide to just fly him to where I think he'll be out of harm's way. And in combat I destroy that small unit of Plague Bearers, and looks like I've killed another Beast and a Plague Bearer somehow. I know at some point I got challenged by the Plague Bearer champion and killed him. I'm not sure how I did a Beast and a Plague Bearer in one turn, but basically there's 1 Beast left now, so I could get the points of that unit. So Demons turn 6, the Screamers fly onto the Phoenix, do their slash attack and kill him. I thought it'd be safe from them since they didn't have enough move to go all the way through him, but it turns out they can just like go onto his base and then back away. In the magic phase, he gets an irresistible force cast of Treason of Tzeentch off on my general. I've been making sure to dispel any cast of Treason of Tzeentch, because that could be quite a game-changing spell. It takes away re-rolls from the BSB, and it means you have to use the lowest leadership in your unit rather than the highest. He's tried it a few times, and I've let other spells through just to dispel that one, but now he gets it off on irresistible force on my general. In combat I just fluff against the beast, so still 1 beast left. I lose combat again, and I have to roll without the BSB reroll, but I stick and the game ends. So one thing I did in this battle, which I've never done in a battle before, is to keep a rough note of roughly how many points I've lost and how many my opponents lost. So I felt that really helped me with my decision making as the battle progressed, and it meant that, for example, by about halfway through the battle I was a lot more confident of my position. I knew that I'd done enough already that as long as I didn't lose my 2 really expensive units, I would be almost assured of victory, and I didn't have to frantically go after as many points as I could. So yeah, I felt that really helped me actually. I might try and do that more in future. So we added up the points, and High Elves scored 1,261, Demons scored 760, so that's a victory for High Elves. And I know Demons losing to High Elves with the Banner of the World Dragon Silver Helm bus is nothing that you couldn't have predicted, but I didn't feel it was completely one-sided, and anyway, it's the first time I've played that sort of battle. I made some mistakes, my opponent played pretty well. It was obviously going to be an uphill struggle for him, but you know, that's the game. You could go up against a list like this anytime, and main thing is we both enjoyed the battle anyway. We had a bit of discussion about it afterwards, and you know, I don't think it was a foregone conclusion by any means, although definitely uphill for the Demons. So what I'm going to do now is just play a slideshow of every slide from the battle, 1 second long each, just so you can see how the battle flowed. So thanks a lot for watching. I know it's been quite a long battle report. I'm still trying to find a good balance between describing what's necessary and but also not going into too much depth. I think I've erred on the side of too much depth this time. I personally don't particularly like it when battle reports go on for like half an hour, but this one seems to have just sprawled on, so I'll try and curtail it a bit in future. So thanks a lot for watching, and see you next time.